Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Nothing Venture, Nothing Gain, our weekly podcast at SC Ventures where we talk about fintech innovation, our global venture updates, and also what we're currently doing with Standard Bank. I'm your host, Harold Alpet.
I'm also your host, Apur. So I guess, Harold, another exciting week of announcements. We recently, actually just Monday, had a launch event for a new joint venture that we've announced with one of our key corporate partners. Matter of fact, we do a lot of this, and if you're interested in partnering on that front, please do reach out. But Harold, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Thank you. Yes, it was a launch event for our venture Catalyst, which is, as you mentioned, a JV with Engie, one of the largest energy companies in the world, and we've really started with them in this journey about a year ago on how do we create a more efficient and transparent system for corporates who want to finance carbon credits in a very reliable way. And so we created this platform with them. And on the launch event, we had two panels. During these two panels, we had our colleagues from the bank, WRB, Eugenia Co, who explained the opportunities from a wealth and retail perspective of why people care about carbon credits and specifically in this part of the world. But also Ying, who explained how we currently do sustainability projects from a CIB perspective. So really good panels, and we had people from V Carbon, a fascinating project in Papua New Guinea. We had people on the tech side, and of course people from Engie as well. Overall, I would say close to 200 people in the audience. It was really a great event. If you want to know more, specifically on Catalyst, just feel free to reach out to us, and you can also go to their website, which is catalystcarbon.com, to find out more, and they're currently onboarding a lot more projects, so feel free to reach out.
Very, very cool. Another action-packed week in Japan as well, especially with GFTN and startups and fintechs coming together, and on the back of that, we've released a few announcements. More recently, we've announced a MOU with Hakuhodo to tokenize some of their intellectual property in manga and anime. Very interesting space for us, especially as a bank, especially as an alternate asset class, especially in the context of us providing the underlying tokenization, enabling that kind of component. So you want to share a little bit more about Project Ingram and where we are with that?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think we're currently looking at investing in alternative assets, and this is specifically interesting because, as you know, we're going to experience in the next probably decade or 2 decades the biggest transfer of wealth from one generation to the other. And when you look at younger investors, they want to invest in things that are different, things that they can relate to, things that they're proud to carry on, and this can go from sustainability to intellectual property. And manga is a pretty cool intellectual property. We've engaged with a lot of them, and this is something they want to hold because it's a good investment, they think. And it's also something that they can then carry on their own social media platform and that they can share with their friends. So we want to know more about this and very excited to support this with Hakuhodo.
Absolutely, and actually just back in January we launched Akashaverse in India, which is a joint venture that looks at anywhere from tourism to spiritual tourism as well, specifically in India, to commerce, leveraging technologies like AR, VR. Even within that sort of technology in India, we're really looking at how we can bring the Japanese and Indian trade corridor, so to speak, together. That's where we'll be seeing a lot more action happening, especially in the context of Japanese companies and organizations coming together in the Indian context and vice versa. So look out for those announcements, and I think some of them will be made in April during the Indian Mahakumbh for fintechs. So do keep a lookout for that, and I think it'd be pretty exciting for us to announce some of those components.
Absolutely, and I think you and I were there recently, and it's a very thriving ecosystem. It's even more than thriving, I would say. It's a very active and boiling ecosystem where there's tons of tech talents, as we all know, I think, but there's also tons of entrepreneurs. It's a very entrepreneurial country, and with global travelers, global Indians who are willing to reconnect with their countries and being able to provide that platform where they can experience tourism, like Apoorv said, but not just tourism, commerce, investment, potentially other banking products is something that we want to be able to provide. It's probably the fastest growing middle class in the world, and we want to be there for them, providing relevant technologies as well.
Awesome. I'm going to be a user of Akasha as a global Indian myself, so looking forward to that.
Me too.
You're a global Indian?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'll be using it.
Oh, you'll be
as a
using it.
platform.
Okay, cool. On the back of that, also exciting news for global news, right? Lots happening with the Trump administration, and especially in the context of Web3 and cryptocurrencies. One of our portfolio companies, Ripple, is also part of some speculation there.
Current discussions, I wouldn't say speculations, but current discussions where there are announcements of a strategic crypto reserve for the U.S. and in it would be, I would say, the biggest cryptocurrencies and stablecoin providers as well. And I think for us to see that Ripple is being part of this discussion as it's one of our early portfolio companies is pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean that sort of closes it out for this week. I think we'll hopefully we be back next week.
Well, we will be back next week.
Yeah.
With more news. And in the meantime, if you want to connect with us, just feel free to reach out to us through the various channels.
And give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to hear? Anything else you want to us to interact a little bit more about?
See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Bye.